On a quiet morning at his Alabama home, Eric Riedeboot
Got some cherry tomatoes.
checks his tomatoes and tests the water in his lake.
You gotta vocalize here, fishy, fishy.
What makes these ordinary moments extraordinary is his diagnosis.
We were given an appointment to see Dr. Glass. He was diagnosed July 7.
The diagnosis came as a shock, but Eric and his wife Maria had already seen ALS once before. His brother died of the disease in 2004.
Once I was diagnosed, I'm like, before they did any genetic testing, I'm like, this is genetic. I started out in research.
He was right. Eric has a genetic mutation called SOD1 that accounts for 2% of ALS cases. Eric began to decline.
There's a bit of a slope going down to the garden, and I would fall probably weekly. I got real good at falling, so I didn't hurt myself too bad.
He couldn't turn the switch on the lamp anymore.
So every time I felt I needed to cry and I needed to talk seriously with God, I would go out, take a drive, and just, drive, and then I'll cry, and then I'll come back.
Good morning.
1 year into his diagnosis, Emory called. There was one opening in a clinical trial for people with SOD1.
And so I said, sign me up. There was one opening at Emory.
Any changes to symptoms?
And I got in, thank God.
Slow until you're ready.
So in this SOD1 mutation, there's this SOD1 protein that is toxic to the motor nerves. It drives this death of the motor neurons, which then causes the weakness and all of that. And this antisense oligonucleotide therapy can actually decrease that protein production to turn off that bad protein that's driving ALS.
Antisense oligonucleotides are gene silencing therapies that block the production of harmful proteins.
Mainly I noticed that I was not declining anymore. And then probably within a year, I was actually regaining strength, which blew my mind.
Eric stopped falling down the hill in his backyard, and
I could turn the lamp switch on and off. That was one thing that was very evident.
For him, his ALS is kind of a mild chronic disease that he could live the rest of his life with. It was one of the most exciting things that's happened, right? We stopped ALS from progressing in this group of patients.
All right, you're gonna feel the numbing medicine.
now FDA approved, the therapy requires monthly infusions in Atlanta.
There's a lot of brim, bluegill.
9 years after his diagnosis, Eric is still living with ALS, but he's living.
That's a foot in the door. That says this is a treatable disease. We just need to figure out how to treat it with everybody else.